So you're engaged. Congratulations. That's very exciting. I'm sure as well as all of the excitement, you are also realizing that there's a lot that goes into it. Maybe you do want a really big wedding with all of your friends and family at a big venue and are very excited about it and planning it since you were young. Maybe you want something simple. Maybe you want something completely private. It's a lot to consider and a lot to think about. One of the things to consider also is who's going to perform your wedding ceremony, who's going to lead you through that process, whether you are doing a quick sign and go marriage or you're wanting a full ceremony. In several states, a notary can actually perform that wedding, including Tennessee, where I am. In these states where it is legal for a notary to perform those civil ceremonies, it just means that it's not going to be religiously based. So it's not going to be like if you had a minister who was marrying you in the eyes of the church or in the eyes of God. It is just more of a legal civil ceremony. But the really cool thing about having a notary do your ceremony is that the things that we are required to do or say are pretty minimal. And it's going to differ per state. But beyond that, there's so much freedom in what you want that ceremony to look like, what you want to say. So if you are wanting it to have religious aspects to it, that's completely fine. You can have those religious aspects in it. If you want them in your vows, if you want readings, Bible verses, you can still do that. That freedom means you basically get to curate this wedding how you want it to look, what parts you want to say, who you want to speak, how long you want it to be. It's all up to you, which really is very helpful, especially if you're wanting a less traditional wedding. But even if you are wanting something more traditional, that's completely up to you. So once you are in that process of planning what your ceremony is going to look like with your notary, you're going to just talk through the different options. But the notary is going to be able to lead you and your partner through that ceremony. It's not something you want to have to worry about. It's not something you want to have to think through. You want to know that the person officiating your wedding is going to do that proficiently enough so that you can just, repeat when you need to repeat. They'll guide you to where you need to go. So it's simple and it's not something that you have to think about while you're up there. So as far as the process, once you are in contact with your officiant, and if that is a notary, you'll go ahead and work out the date, the time, all of that. So once you have that kind of set, then you'll be looking at going to apply for your marriage license, marriage certificate. Now, in Tennessee, these are only good for 30 days from the application date. So you want to make sure that you're really looking at the time frame of when you're getting that and not getting it too early. So the process is pretty simple. You and your partner will go to the county clerk. You can go to any county clerk in the state and apply for your marriage license. You want to make sure that you have a valid ID, an in-date ID with you. Both of you will need that in order to get that license. You'll pay there, which it's usually $100 to $200 to get that license. And again, it's only good for 30 days. So just make sure you're doing that like a week or two before your actual ceremony to make sure that that's still in date and you're good to go. At the actual ceremony, afterward, you'll need to also make sure that you have your IDs. The notary will need to check those as well. And then the notary will sign the marriage license and the certificate. Typically, the notary will then take it with them and they will file it back at the county clerk that you applied for it from. So you can have your wedding wherever you'd like. Let's say you live in Johnson City, but you're going to go have an good old Gatlinburg wedding ceremony. You can go to Gatlinburg, get married there, and then your notary will file it back in Washington County. Now, as far as cost of a notary to officiate your wedding, it's obviously going to depend on a couple of different things. One thing is that it depends on where. How far is the notary traveling to get to your ceremony? Then also, are they having to travel to file that at the clerk's office? So you'll want to consider that, and some notaries will have a base pay of a certain amount per mile from their home or a certain amount per mile outside of 20 miles of their home, whatever it is. So you'll need to ask about that. Then it will also depend on the ceremony. If you're having a quick sign and go ceremony where the notary is literally just saying the things that they're required to say, it's going to be less money. If you're having a full ceremony and the notary has to be there for rehearsal and then for a full ceremony and lead in multiple things, it's going to be a bit more money. Hiring a notary to do your wedding can be a really great option. It does give you the flexibility. It's affordable, and you can have your ceremony wherever, at a house, on a mountain, on a cliffside, on a beach. It allows you that freedom to decide what you want that day to look like between you and your partner. Figure out exactly how you want it to look, and the notary is going to help make that happen. Feel free to reach out if you do have any questions, whether it's about the officiating process, the process of getting the marriage license, any confusion around that. Feel free to reach out. I'm here. You can reach out to me here. You can reach out to me through text, and that information will be linked below, or through email. But overall, it's a huge, exciting time, and I hope your planning is going well. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. I hope that nobody gives you shit. I hope that you are able to plan the exact day that you and your partner want, in the exact location, at the exact time. I hope everything comes together beautifully for you, and I can't wait to see the pictures.